It's a short drama slash short film, and my main project concept was to have a middle-aged woman who is suffering from mental health, and the three mental health issues which I looked into were schizophrenia and anxiety and depression. And so the drama will show the events of Iris's paranoia unfold in her head due to her poor mental health as it progresses. The viewer will witness what Iris feels as the situation gets worse. But is it all in her head? And I sort of wanted to have a sort of stalking element to it. But sort of, as my idea evolved, the stalking element sort of wasn't as central as it was meant to be. And my skills over the last year or so have drastically improved with software, Final Cut, After Effects. I'm able to produce title sequences. I've learned about modes for dress, which has developed my understanding and greatly improved my knowledge of documentary making, narrative structures, another aspect, and my time, my management skills, and overall just my skills just as a whole have improved a lot. So I would, for my project concept, I would use a variety of camera angles in my short film. I wanted to convey a lot of emotion because obviously mental health is quite an emotional sort of subject. Lots of close-ups and medium and long shots would help create the fastness of the drama. And sort of my target audience at first was going to be people aged 18 to 50 because I had quite a diverse target audience because mental health affects people of all ages, a variety of people, so it sort of can connect with all sorts of people. But obviously having sort of a middle-aged woman in as protagonist means that people her age, sort of middle-aged people, will be able to probably relate a little bit more to her. And obviously, so this is my proposal, and I talked about all my research, secondary, primary research, which I would all conduct, and yeah. And then this is my pitch, which really helped get my project concept and the whole project across with sort of visually and more, it sort of summarized it all. So this is my pitch. I sort of talked about my character profile, I did audience demographics, my synopsis. It's quite detailed. As I progressed with the project, I added more to my pitch, so it became a lot more detailed and a lot more information was portrayed in it. So also my synopsis, it's a short drama about a middle-aged woman called Iris who lives in London all by herself. Iris is experiencing problems after tragic family losses over recent years. She's in a fragile state, and one evening she suspects someone has broken into her house, and this is sort of this is my synopsis at the very beginning, so obviously it's evolved over time. It's a lot more about mental health now, and my theme / style, loneliness, innocence, jealousy, fate, sacrifice. My character profiles, Iris and the stalker. They were going to be quite central characters, but obviously now it's just sort of, as my idea evolved, Iris became the central character, and the stalker was not really in it. It was more about, is it real or is it not? My actor profiles, I used two people called Karen and Tracy, both from London, who worked really well on production. Looked at similar products, which includes shows like Pretty Little Liars, EastEnders, which had a recent depression storyline, Stalker, and all about my target audience. I will be aiming my drama at middle-aged people, 40 to 55-year-olds, however still appealing to the younger audience. My BBC and BART research, my primary and secondary research, my audience profile, secondary research, visual research, mood boards, and the sort of examples of camera angles and lights I wanted to use, my production research, my location. I was going to use a house in London in like a leafy suburb, so it was quite quiet and it was good to film in. And then I have so then I started conducting my research, and I did sort of my survey analysis, and I looked into BBC Three, my book research, Foley research. I looked at certain scenes from certain films, audio research, and all of this was uploaded onto my Wix page in FMP. So if we go to my research, a lot of my visual research is on here. So my focus groups, my interviews, my animatics, my mood boards, all that was put on my Wix page. As you can see, so my mood boards help visually evolve my idea. So that's my research. And from my research, I could sort of see that I sort of did a lot more research into mental health, and I sort of decided that mental health was going to be the forefront of my drama. You know, the stalking element wasn't going to really be in it as much. So definitely, the evolution of my idea was more about mental health, and I did my survey analysis. You know, people liked the idea. My Foley research, I looked into how you can create horror effects. In my audio research, I described every single room in the house and what background noise there was. My BBC Three and Channel 4 research looked into target audience, because obviously it's a similar target audience to mine. I looked at their ethos and aims and how they would be a great platform to market my short film at. And then my production paperwork, this was my call sheets, my recce's, my location agreement, my actors release forms, which is all in here. My budget research, my shot list, so all of that, my location photos. And I had my problem solving log, and this was a really good document to use over the whole project. It really helped me sort of evaluate my mistakes which I was making, because I was constantly logging what I did wrong, and I was finding the solution to put it right. And it sort of was, I was learning from my mistakes. I could see where I was going wrong and how I needed to improve. And then there is my reflection and my reflective journal and my evaluation. My reflective journal is quite detailed. I made sure I wrote in my reflective journal at least sort of 3, 4 times, 5 times a week. And it was really about logging my progress and how I was improving and what mistakes I made, and how I was getting on with the project and how I was feeling about it, and how, what went wrong, my new learning, what I'd, summarized each day. Then I talked about the new learning which I made. Then my personal reaction, how I felt about it, and what actions I needed to take. And it sort of had all, my actions to take showed what I needed to do, what I'd done. And I think my reflective journal has really helped me this project a lot. And I did my evaluations. It's like sort of my evaluations that I went along. So my first evaluation, I talked about my context and my research, and how my research has developed my idea. And I talked about all the different types of research I used, and I talked about my context, my proposal, my pitch, and all of that. And I talked about all the research which I did at the beginning of the project, so my primary, my secondary research. And then I did my production evaluation, which talked about how the filming went and what went wrong and what the weather was like, just all sorts of like my skills, and how the time management on the production was, how the actors performed, how my crew were, and how it all, how it went. And then I talked about how the film was like and what the different shots were like and how I filmed it and what maybe I did wrong, and how perhaps I need to do a second shoot and improve on this. And then my final evaluation talked about, sort of summarised sort of everything. I talked about the research which I conducted at the end of the project, which is like my title sequence and audio research, sort of like sound effects, You know, I talked about my film, the aesthetic, the technical quality, the creative quality, and then about I just summarised the project a bit and what I thought about it and how I think it went and what skills I've learned. And I talked about the evolution of my idea, that how it was always going to be about mental health and stalking, but then it turned into more about mental health, and it was going to be, the main aim of my short film was about mental health awareness, and and then so my production went quite well. I've re-filmed twice due to like certain issues. I didn't film with enough close-ups, and it was a mistake I made. So obviously I had to correct this on my second shoot. And it went well. Both shoots went well. But obviously my second shoot really corrected the issues, and I added sound effects to my short film. And I was good at editing this time because my skills have improved a lot. I know I did a professional title sequence, and obviously it all looked a lot better this time. I felt that you can really see all my skills have evolved, and I've put all my skills into this project, and I think it's evident on this project. So if we look at my first draft, I will show you some of the shots which I've improved upon. So one of the scenes here it's this one when she goes to pick up the pills, and it's quite a long scene here. It doesn't keep the viewer very engaged. And then in my final draft, we can see that it's been improved upon, and I've made it shorter, which helps keep the viewer more engaged. And if we also compare to my first draft, if we go to the very end scene, the technical quality to sound isn't very good. It's not as suspenseful and it's not as dramatic, I don't think. So if we listen to it here at the end, and if we compare it on the final draft, we can see that it's been improved upon. We just play that again. As you can hear, I've also added a sound effect on my final draft, and it's sort of voices and head sound effect, and I think this really helps convey the mental health, and it really expresses what the protagonist is going through and how her mental health is quite severe and how it affects her in her day-to-day life. I didn't have it in my first draft, and I think it adds a lot of depth to the short film, and it also improves the technical quality. The sound is so much more professional in my final edit. And I'm going to show a few of the scenes which I think are good, and I'll tell you why I did them. So one of the scenes which this scene I thought was quite well done, and I filmed it like this because I think it sort of created the sense that she is quite vulnerable, and that what she sees is different to what we're seeing. And I think obviously what we're seeing isn't real, because obviously it's a mirror reflection. The mirror is reflecting her, and it's sort of showing us double in a way. And it's sort of, I think it helps create tells the viewer that what she sees and goes through isn't what a normal person feels and sees. And another scene which I did was this one, and I think it's quite a surreal scene, and I sort of wanted it to sort of express how she feels and what she goes through, and how nothing is sort of simple with her, and everything she goes through is it's different. She doesn't act and think the way we think, so I wanted to use quite a surreal shot for this, to express this. And I did quite a lot of extreme close-ups towards the end to convey her emotion, her confusion. And I think the confusion is really shown in this scene because I think it also shows her vulnerability. So I think the extreme close-ups helped. And then another scene which I did to create this sort of surrealness effect was this scene at the beginning, which is a shot of the chandelier. And I also did this scene because I wanted to sort of have a shot which sort of expressed how she is, how going, she was in a dream, now she's waken up. And I think that shot nicely expresses it. It's sort of, it's very, it's sort of, I think it expresses that something is changing and something, it's sort of, I think it sort of shows going into two different realms. She's dreaming, now she's in the real world. She's waking up, and I think the audio is obviously a lot better in my final draft, and I think it's quite good. I think the sound effects and working on the audio over the time has really improved it, improved it. And I think the lighting in places is really good. Obviously, there are a few shots which I think probably the lighting could have been improved. And as I chose a good sunny day to film, it also means we can see some of the garden shots. You can see that it was, nice weather. It was, sunny and partially cloudy. And so yeah, I think the lighting is really good outside due to the weather conditions. I mean, there are a few scenes which I think, as I said, it could be improved upon. Maybe sort of at the beginning, maybe the lighting in some of the bedroom shots wasn't amazing. However, I don't think it was too bad. But maybe the lighting sort of in this sort of scene, it's sort of a bit yellowy in places, maybe. So maybe I could have changed that if I'm looking back on the project. And yeah, so that's sort of just expressing and showing you some of the shots and why I changed certain things and why I did certain things on my short. And also did my script and my character profiles. My script was updated a lot because obviously my idea evolved and I used to change some bits, evolved as I went along. I had about 3, 4, 5 drafts of my script and my title sequence, which was probably the best one I produced because I've learned a lot from using the software over the last year. My skills have drastically improved. And then I conducted so once my short film was done, once I'd done all my audio, I'd made sure that it's near perfect or near the best it can be. I carried out my feedback and I got professional feedback from a person called Adam Howley, who is a director for BBC Three. He does, I think, a drama series called Burnout. And I conducted feedback survey, and all my feedback was really positive. People really praised my short film. They thought the length was right. They thought the target audience was good. They thought the aesthetic, the technical, the creative quality was good. They thought my actors performed well. I mean, there was a little bit of criticism at times, but overall, I think over 80–90% of people said that it was really good, and they had very few criticism about it. And my professional feedback was good. He said that I had a mature approach to filmmaking, and that he gave a little bit of critique and how I could improve. And obviously, these suggestions are really helpful because it shows where I've gone wrong and what mistakes I've made and how I can maybe act upon them in the future if I ever went back to editing my short film. And yeah, my feedback really gave me a good insight into how this project has gone and how what I've produced and how it's shown that I should be proud of my work a bit more because my feedback was good. And I had my schedule, which really helped over the whole project because I was looking at each day and I was thinking what I had to do. It was telling me what to do, so it was so easy every day just looking at that and just knowing what I had to do. And I worked to my schedule. I updated it quite a bit, and I worked to my schedule. I even got ahead of it a bit at times so I could move on to the next day and do the work which I was meant to do on other days. And yeah, my schedule has really helped me this time. It's the first time I've had a proper professional schedule, and it's really helped with my progress. And overall, I think this project has gone quite well. It's gone well. I think because I think it's my skills which have improved a lot, and I think all my skills have come together on this project, and I've combined them to try and make make this the best short film I've ever done. And I think it is, and I think there's still, a few. There's obviously mistakes where I've made, but I've always, used my journal to reflect upon them and just to know where I've gone wrong. But I think overall, I've really, really have produced. I've produced something which I'm proud of, and something that I think is good, but something that's good and something that's shows, showing all the skills which I've learnt.